It's time to explore a scenario where on the surface, I think most Sacramento Kings fans would go, nope, no, don't want this, gross, icky, no, hell no. I'm talking about a scenario where the Sacramento Kings next season try to be a play-in team, try to make the postseason, led by their new top rookie this year. Here's the idea behind this, right? No matter what, the Sacramento Kings have to do something this summer because financially they're slated to be a second apron team next year, which is...
Can't happen.
Cannot happen, right? And the acquisition of DeAndre Hunter put them in that position. Hunter has 1 year left on his deal next year.
Which means, by the way, I'm pretty sure Scott Perry knew that there's a plan.
I think Scott knows he's got work to do.
Exactly.
Right?
One of those four will not be on the team by the end of the year.
The four being
the biggest
Sabonis,
contracts.
Levine, Monk, DeRozan. You could even throw DeAndre Hunter.
I would
it's really
say,
five
you
now.
could throw him on there.
You throw DeAndre Hunter in there as well.
I guess I was more so talking Hunter than Monk just because of the money.
But Monk is a contract that is up there that the Kings, we know the Kings are trying to get rid of. They've tried, and they're going to continue to try to move on from Malik Monk's money. I am of the belief that the Sacramento Kings are not going to be able to move on from Zach LaVine. I don't think there's, even though it's an expiring deal, I don't think anybody in June or July is going to be lining up to pay and foot a 1 year, $50 million contract. It's not quite 50, it's 49. You get the point.
Round up.
I know.
Do.
Oh, no,
I always
1 more
round
million.
Up, yeah.
I don't think the Sacramento Kings are going to be able to find the value that they're looking for Domantas Sabonis. If they were just trying to dump him, they would have done so already. So I think Sabonis is still on the team. I think Zach LaVine's still on the team. I am perplexed as to why the Kings can't find a team to take DeMar DeRozan. They weren't able to this year. I don't know why it's going to be any different next year. Teams already know that he's only $10 million guaranteed next year.
Right.
If that mattered, I feel like they would have made the move already.
Right,
but
and now he's 1 year older, too.
Right,
Or going to be that.
there's still a chance,
Sure.
I suppose.
And they know there's a good chance he'll go to the buyout market if Sacramento can't find a trade.
That too. And the Kings have until, I believe, January before they can cut him and pay the $10 million price tag instead of guaranteed the full, I think $24 million is what it is. Bottom line is, I don't see a likely scenario at this point, and a lot can change between now and September and when training camp begins. I don't see a likely scenario where the Sacramento Kings are going to be able to move off of multiple of these contracts. If they're able to move off of one, that's great, but there's still 2 or 3 more that suggest, hey, you should be a more competitive team than you are. The scenario that I have, the question that I have is, does Scott Perry walk into September, and let's say he's able to move one of them. Pick one. Let's, as a show, pick one.
But is it okay, like we need to pick realistically, though.
Yeah, exactly. Pick one contract realistically that gets them under the apron that's gone.
I
Is
think
it DeMar? It's
is
DeMar.
my pick.
DeMar's the easiest one. Levine's the one they would most like to. But,
Levine's not going
Levine's
anywhere.
not going anywhere.
it would have to be a buyout of more than $14 million to get them under, which, again, whatever. If
That ain't
Levine
happening.
gets that good.
So let's just say it's DeMar.
Let's do it.
Let's say it's DeMar, and we have no idea if Russ is the point guard of this team again or not.
Okay.
We'll just, I don't know. The point guard position is a big question mark in this scenario.
Yeah, it is.
But we'll just insert prospect here.
Yeah. Yes. And let's, as a show, decide what prospect the Kings get.
Okay.
Do we want AJ? Do we want Cam? Do we want Darren Peterson? Who do we want?
Let's run one tankathon.
Okay.
Okay, we'll run a tankathon and we'll see who the Sacramento Kings end up with. Boom. Second overall pick, which
AJ.
is AJ.
Yeah.
Okay, so AJ. Yay. I'm very happy. AJ
That's thrilled. He doesn't sound like it.
No, I'm very happy. AJ Debansa is a Sacramento King. Okay.
Yeah.
On the surface, what all logic would say, when you're not taking the context of where the Kings are at and the contracts that they have, all logic would say, you just got AJ Debansa, your future star, but you're rebuilding. Time is on your side. Next season, give AJ the green light. Let him shoot 1,000 times a game. Lose. Develop Neek and Max and Dylan Cardwell further, any other young talent that you bring in, lose games, get another draft pick for next year's draft, build on top of it, and hey-ho, here we go on to the next year. That's what most people, when they think rebuild, that's what Kings fans are kind of calling for, because we haven't seen the Kings really do that effectively over the last 20 or so years. But that doesn't take into account that, again, Sabonis would still be here. LaVine would still be here. Malik Monk would still be here. DeAndre Hunter's still here. And there's a very good chance that Russ is still going to be back because the Kings need a point guard and Russ is a vet minimum deal. There's a very good chance Russell Westbrook is still here next year, or is they're bringing him back to handle those responsibilities.
Or if it's not Russ, it's just insert generic minimum contract.
Right. They're not doing Dennis Schroeder 2.0.
No.
They couldn't financially do that. I guess they could maybe trade DeMar DeRozan for a point guard if anybody
but it's not going to be some high-end.
Welcome back, Bones Highland.
High-caliber guy.
It's not going to be anybody that you're like, yes, there's my future point guard, unless Scott Perry wheels and deals.
It's going to be someone who makes some Kings fans long for Russell Westbrook.
Right.
So, that's coming at some point.
Gross.
So
here's the scenario, all right? And again, I understand in people's guts, they're going to want to throw things at their radios or at their YouTube streams when they hear this. But I'm genuinely thinking about this. If you are essentially forced into this position where it's another season like this one with a hodgepodge of veterans that don't really work together, but now AJ Debansa is here, hooray, and you lose a boatload of games going into a draft that is not nearly as strong or not expected to be nearly as strong as this year's draft. Why would you want to go through another? How is that not just wasted time, even if you have AJ taking 20 shots a game? Versus, I can tell you right now, you're focusing on AJ Debansa. He's still your centerpiece, but Domantas Sabonis stays healthy. AJ's at the 3, Keegan's at the 4. That front court starts working. Zach LaVine is averaging 19 points a game or whatever, and you're still trying to move him at the trade deadline or whatever. My point is, start next season with the expectation we are going to try to win basketball games. We're not tanking from the jump. We're not trying to lose from the jump. We're trying to win basketball games. The likely best case scenario is we make it to the playoffs via the play-in, a 7th or 8th seed if things go really, really well. Guys stay healthy. AJ Debansa looks like a leader. And now we're giving AJ Debansa, in this scenario, we're giving AJ opportunity to play meaningful playoff basketball as a top guy. It probably doesn't go well. You probably are out in 4 games in the first round. But you've got that experience, and now if you weren't able to move any of these contracts at the trade deadline, Zach LaVine's off the books, Malik Monk's going into the final year of his deal, Domantas Sabonis is going into the final year of his deal, and sure, you didn't get a great draft pick in next year's draft, but it's not the end of the world. You're still probably getting a middle of the draft pick.
Yeah.
Anywhere super, super late lottery to high teens. There's an argument for that being a better route for the Kings to go based off of their circumstances than just tank because that's what's the best thing to do. Because I just don't think there's a realistic scenario where the Kings are not going to have these guys on their roster. These veterans on their roster.
Realistically, they are. I mean, there might be minus one of those contracts, like we said, but it's a hard thing to predict that far and predict that many scenarios. But I understand what you're saying, because I think you're mostly also putting this on the fact that what we know, at least right now, this draft isn't great next year. And look, things could change. There could be some players that really, develop and bloom next year, and we're like, wait a second, wouldn't it have been nice to have that guy?
Yeah.
Because we can't necessarily say they're going to be crap all in next year's draft.
Of course.
Because we always are going to have talent.
100%.
But I think what's crazy about this team is nobody is going to go into a season wanting to lose games. Like, the end game is always for an organization to win games.
Right.
I think they could try as much as they want with what this roster is next year, and the only difference is really going to be it's going to be their pick that they got in this year's draft. How much can that pick, I think, change the team or help them win games? I can't really say right now, because I just think it's still a hodgepodge of players that your vision is not exactly there still, because you have a lot of these guys that are just like last year or this year we're currently in. They're just there. Like they're not a team. So it's like, what are we expecting? Just one guy to come in and magically he's going to help them win games and get to the play-in? Because there's no other guys that we're really talking about that would be the difference maker. So I think it's going to probably organically go in that direction where you could get the highlights from having AJ here and get the fans that are butts in the seat, at least to start the year, and the excitement, and maybe they win some games and stuff. But I just still feel like you have that same kind of heavy, weighed down roster that you had this last year.
Yeah, what you're talking about is you can try to win games, but you're still probably going to lose because you're not. It's just not a very good roster.
Yes, and again, maybe that changes because there's health on their side this year.
Right.
This next year, I should say. Because that's a big part of, too, why we just never saw guys playing together. The rotations were wacky and wonky all the time.
They had no forwards at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Right.
The big difference to me with that is this. If Zach LaVine is taking the most shots on the team, or Russell Westbrook is back and Russ is taking the most shots on the team, the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
If AJ Debansa is taking the most shots on the team, and you're either finding success or you're still losing basketball games, you're good. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like that's the ideal scenario.
Sure.
You're also talking about I'm talking like motivations going into the season. Number one motivation should be we're going to continue to develop this rookie and the other young guys. That's still our top motivation.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to lose basketball games right off the jump. Attack the first, very similar to this year, attack the first half of the season with, we're going to try and win every single game.
Yeah.
We're going to try and catch fire. We're going to see if we can not skip rungs up the ladder, because that's a problem that this organization has gotten into in the past. But we believe Zach LaVine is a better player than he's shown. We believe Keegan Murray should be better as long as he stays healthy, knock on wood. Domantas Sabonis as long as he stays healthy, knock on wood. Let's ride it to the trade deadline and try and be as competitive as we possibly can. And maybe, just maybe, then we can move Zach LaVine because he's an expiring deal.
That's a good point. Like, at least maybe we could get some value up for somebody.
I just think there's this expectation next year that the Sacramento Kings are going to be tanking from the jump, and I don't think that's going to be the case.
That's never how I thought of it, actually.
Okay.
I really didn't. I really feel like, going back to my word, organic, because it's played throughout the whole season, I just feel like the way they need to approach it is an organic way.
Yeah.
Like, no team, again, players do not want to lose games. Like, they're not going into games thinking, we're tanking tonight, we're going to play our crappiest basketball, like, as a player. Like, they're not thinking that way. So I'm sure to start the season, like, I think the motivation will be to win games. But I unfortunately think organically that's going to probably go in the direction where they might end up being in the same spot they are in terms of, maybe a few more games they win this next year. But, there'd be more excitement because the rookie.
I'm going to take us forward in time. It's mid-November.
Oh, we got the time machine?
It's late November. Whoop! We just fast forward to November. Hey,
right.
It's almost Thanksgiving, everybody.
Wow, Matt, you've really aged.
I mean, listen.
Well, he's covering the Kings,
Losing does a number on me, let me tell you. But Thanksgiving dinner is next week. I already got my Christmas shopping done. Now I know that's not realistic.
Yeah.
The Kings are 8-8 to start the season through their first 16 games. They're 500. How are people reacting? How are we reacting? Is it 8-8 to start the season, led by AJ Debansa in this scenario? Yay, awesome, what a good start. Or are people going, yo, you're 500, what good is that? Like, we're supposed to be losing games right now. I'm just wondering, how would this fan base feel? I feel like they'd be positive.
I think so too. I think that this fan base is first of all, they're starving for wins and starving for success at some point. And after this tumultuous, I can't say it. Wait.
Tumultuous?
See?
Wow.
Whatever.
See, you say it and you get like in your head. Isn't it
tumultuous?
Tumultuous.
That one.
No, that was an extra L in there.
I know what you meant.
You know what I'm saying.
Keep going.
I'm never going to use that word again on radio.
Keep cooking.
Tumultuous.
English is hard. Keep going. Keep going.
But I think that the fan base just wants to see this team have success. And if they are at that point, 8-8 at that point, I think the team's going to be like, or the fans are going to be like, hey, this is fun. Like, we're winning some games. Like, maybe we go back to that then conversation of then, are we going to go back to people jumping on the like hybrid rebuild?
Allen would be obnoxious.
Oh, and he would be the worst.
Oh, he'd be so obnoxious.
That's why I don't want it to happen, because then he would stand on his he'd stand on his victory box and say, hybrid rebuild. This is what way we win in.
Well,
success.
Hold on. So I hop back in the time machine for a second, and we're going forward to, was it March 2027, I guess?
Okay, so this time next year?
Yeah. So let's say at that point, you said they were 8-8 to start the season. Let's say they're 30-30 at that point.
Uh-huh.
At that point, let's say everyone's healthy, Sabonis is playing relatively close to an all-NBA level. I'm not saying he is all-NBA, but just gets back close to where he was 2 years ago.
Yep.
Debansa is awesome. Russ has figured things out. They figured out the cap situation, whatever. Mm-hmm. At that point, you don't think the organization would look up and say, now we're just a piece away, or now we have cap flexibility, we're just one free agent signing or one trade away from getting to...
What? Away from contending or away from getting into the playoffs outright? Because this organization cannot operate with we're a piece away from making the playoffs anymore. We're either a piece away from contending or we're not even close. That's the way that Scott Perry has to look at this.
But don't you think it'd go in that direction if they were at that point?
No. Because I'd like to believe that someone with a brain in that freaking organization would go, hey, we just did this nonsense a couple of years ago. Let's not do this again. 30, let's say, so 30 and 30.
Let's just go 30 and 30, which at this point would be what?
Ninth.
Ninth. Yeah.
You're ninth.
Yeah,
so you're in the plan, which, by the way, we're talking purgatory.
I don't want to be there, man.
I mean, the Clippers were just there and they said goodbye, everyone.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's my thing. Are you there because you weren't able to trade Zach LaVine, let's say? No team would take him. Are you there? You're 30 and 30. You're in the ninth spot. You're in the play-in picture. You're likely making the play-in because let's say the gap between 10 and 11 is like it is this year. Between Portland and Memphis is big. So you're basically going to be a play-in team. Now you're just competing for, can we get home court advantage in the play-in or not? But hear me out. But Zach LaVine you weren't able to trade him. Zach LaVine's on this team. He's gone at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And AJ Debansa is leading you in scoring here.
Okay.
That to me is way different.
Okay.
Way different than the Sacramento Kings being 30 and 30, and they're in the 9th seed, and the two leading scorers on the Kings are Zach LaVine and Russell Westbrook, and AJ Debansa is averaging 14 points per game and taking the third most shots. Now I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, then it's like, okay, well, this isn't...
So it all depends on how... Are the young guys leading the way or are they not?
And that would be more so for that, Matt. It's not like realistically you're like, they're going to go to the NBA Finals. Like, that's not what realistically you're thinking. But you're realistically like thinking, okay, this is getting these young guys a real life experience in the play-in playoffs, whatever.
Yes.
And led by the youngest of them all, who's going to get even more experience, and then go into next year, continue the rebuild while you're not going to get like a top pick. You know, wheel and deal if you're Scott Perry. You have some of these bigger contracts off the books. It's not a hybrid model.
No.
But it is more so you're not completely tanking for 2 straight years.
The idea behind it is I have no choice. These vets are on my roster and I inherited them and I can't freaking get rid of them.
Sure.
It was kind of the mindset coming into this year. Scott Perry was essentially coming into this season going, I've got these guys on my roster for the next 2 years, these contracts that I don't believe I'm going to be able to get rid of. I'm going to try, and he tried like hell to move Malik Monk because that was the only guy he felt he could realistically move. Now, yes, the Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook signings both should not have happened. I think there's a regret there. But at the time, what Scott Perry is thinking is, I'm going to get 2 veteran point guards. I'm going to plug them into this team. We're going to just try and go for it this year and just see what happens because I've got no choice because I got this money on my books.
Yeah.
Now the idea is kind of the same in terms of I can't get rid of Zach. I can't get rid of Domas, but I've got this new star rookie here that I believe is going to be my star. So why not try and use this time since I have no choice but to have these guys on my roster? Why not try and use this time to get that young guy as much potential experience as I possibly can? The likely scenario is they're bad again because this roster sucks. But I think I get what you're saying, there is something to the Kings going, okay, let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just see. And as long as the one thing that cannot change is the young guys are still the focus, but we might win too many games for a tank because this roster has more talent on it than a bad team should have. So that's where my brain is going.
It's like almost the best case. It's almost like the best case scenario for next year.
Yes.
Honestly.
And the hope is that at next summer, the following summer, so summer of 2027. Okay, I was just eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. I was swept in 4 games by San Antonio.
Sure.
Whatever. But AJ Debansa was my leading scorer. I have the 15th overall pick in the draft or 16th overall pick or whatever the hell. So I have decent pick in the draft. I still have full control of my draft picks going forward except for the 2031 pick swap with San Antonio, but the Kings still have a pick that year. So I still have full control of my assets. Zach LaVine's gone. I'm in the final year of some of these contracts that in theory should be more movable. I've now gotten context of how does Keegan look with DeAndre? How does Keegan look with AJ? How does AJ look with Sabonis? So now it's another evaluation period, I suppose.
What's funny about that, what you just said too, is at this point, it seems like Sabonis is clearly a part of the future.
They might not have a choice.
I know.
Because they can't get value.
And that's what's interesting because, again, then that falls into, does he feel like, because at that point, he's taken a little bit more of a backseat than ever before. Because you're going to be having young guys come in, and now you're going to have you get what I'm saying? Like, the offense is not running through him.
Yeah.
Like, so it is going to be interesting, even if they have him here and there's nothing you can do with him, how they decide to make that work.
I'm operating with the expectation that Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis are Kings to start next season, and there's nothing Scott Perry can do about it unless I don't think he'll be able to dump LaVine because of how much money LaVine makes.
Just too much.
And I don't think he wants to dump Sabonis because Sabonis is a good player.
Yeah.
So if those two are still on your roster, again, it might not work because you had them this year, although they've been banged up so much. But if those two are still on your roster and Keegan's healthy, and you're now adding a top 3 pick or top 5 pick to them, see how good they can be right out the gate. And if they surprise you, great, that's good experience as long as it's AJ or the pick leading the charge. It's not,
and not the
Zach
veterans.
LaVine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then at that point you're just wasting time. It's a really interesting hypothetical that I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot during the summertime, especially when we have a better idea of what the roster is going to look like. Because this is where I think next season is headed. And I think Kings fans who are calling for a rebuild are going, no. But there could be something good there. And that might be the smartest route. Not the ideal, but the smartest route for Scott Perry to take. You got a lot of work to do this summer, let me tell you.
Yeah. Let's take some baby steps, Scott.
And we're also, this entire conversation is completely based on the fact that the Kings get the star that they want in the draft.
Exactly.
If they don't get that, it's all falling apart anyway.
And that star is immediately good instead of that star is going to take 3 to 4 years to grow.
Right. Like, no disrespect. If it's Kingston Flemings, like, okay, let's see how Kingston looks with Domas in the pick and roll and see how Kingston looks with Keegan a little bit, and then whatever, we're going to lose games next year. Like, that's what we're talking. But if it's AJ or Darren Peterson, it's wow. If it's Cam Boozer, immediate impact type player. Okay, now how is it different?
The model is essentially like Con Kneppel, where he comes in and he's overtaking the veterans almost immediately, and the Hornets are awesome.
Yes.
Right, that's your best case scenario.
Regardless of who the Kings draft, that guy needs to have the green light next season ahead of anybody. That needs to be the priority in my mind.